I just got out of Sonos' spring event. There's a ton to go over. I'm rushing back to my hotel, and we're about to talk about it. Get ready. All right, I didn't want to wait until I get back to the hotel room in New York, so we're just going to do this in a bunch of parks or something. I don't know. We're going to have fun with it. The leaks were right. Sonos is diving into the world of voice assistants with its new Sonos Voice Assistant. The new assistant is being marketed as more private than traditional assistants because it does all of its processing on device. So this means your voice is never recorded and never sent anywhere, which is a big deal for a lot of people. Hopefully, for the right Sonos customers that'll be into this. This also means that it's going to be faster, and in the demos I saw today, it was pretty quick and pretty seamless. It worked well, and I was surprised. But I was actually the most surprised by its voice, which is none other than famous movie star Giancarlo Esposito. He was in Far Cry, and now he's here. It's pretty crazy. He could be anywhere next. I will say his voice was very calming and kind of had this cool, I just want to chill and listen to records vibe that fit very much within the Sonos brand. I do expect the company to release more voices, potentially more female or non-binary voices in the future, but for now, it's just us and Giancarlo. The system is primed to work on all Sonos equipment all the way back to 2017. Granted, you have to have a mic on that system, so no SL variants. But specifically, the Bluetooth Sonos Roam and Sonos Move are also included, and because it's all on-device processing, the Sonos Assistant works while you're on Bluetooth. You can't use it to ask for songs, but you can use it to skip tracks, play pause, go back, raise the volume, and more traditional play pause type-ish controls, or playback controls, I guess I should say. You have to be back on Wi-Fi for the speaker to actually get songs or playlists for you. And I should also mention that it doesn't work with Spotify at launch, just Pandora, Apple Music, and Sonos' own radio. Maybe Amazon Music is in there too, but I'll have an annotation if it is or isn't. But the big deal is Spotify and YouTube Music are not here. Overall, I'm pretty excited. The service is coming out on June 1st, but not specifically coming out in Canada. If Canadians want to use it, they'll have to choose the US English language option when they set it up. And if you choose Canadian English, it's not going to work. For French-speaking Canadians, the service is set to launch in France at the end of the year. I think that's because Sonos is working with a French AI company called Snips, or it might not be AI, but a machine learning company that does audio processing. So I guess they're doing France and Parisian French. So perhaps that'll work for Canadians who speak French. Overall, I think this is actually a pretty interesting step for Sonos because it hopefully will drive more Sonos users into Sonos fans. And a Sonos rep told me that Sonos fans, well, they didn't call them fans, but they said Sonos users who are more engaged with the product use it more and generally more happy. And I think if this Sonos Assistant works as well as they say it will, it'll hopefully get more engagement from the users and keep them happier, which is set to be a big win for Sonos, and I guess happy users are just a win for the user as well. About half of the people listening to stuff on Sonos are using it to watch TV or movies, so this new Sonos soundbar, the Ray, makes a ton of sense actually. The Ray is the lowest cost Sonos soundbar yet, which ideally will mean more people can afford it, and if everything goes according to Sonos' plan, it should be a good foothold to get more people into the Sonos ecosystem because, well, if you have one, you know, once you have one, you want another, and then you want another, and then you want another. That's always been Sonos' strong suit. It's hard to stop at one. You just want to keep building out your experience and have the best Sonos system possible for your home. So as long as the speakers keep being a good quality, I don't really expect that to stop. In the brief testing I did today, the Ray sounded fine. I mean, it was good. It was a very rich sound, but I don't know if it was as detailed as the Beam, and especially not as the Arc, but vocals sounded good, and there was a lot of power behind the speaker. It was decent enough, and for $360 Canadian, I think that will be enough. I was sitting close to the center of the room, so there sounded like there was pretty decent stereo separation. Sonos reps told me that the room we were in was probably even a little small for what the Ray is really capable of, so we'll have to go more hands-on with it in our review to actually see what it's like. It's hard to nail down, and I'm sure it will be fine in day-to-day use for most people, but I think part of the magic of Sonos speakers is that they usually sound amazing. They punch above their weight class, they're incredibly detailed, and when people look at something like the small size of the Play 1 and it outputs such a room-filling sound, it's jaw-dropping. These lower-cost speakers like the Roam last year and potentially the Ray this year might not capture that same magic and might not hook people as much as other Sonos products have in the past. The low cost might get people in, but I don't know if it's as big of a hook as something like the magic of a Play 1.
What's up guys, it's Brad from the editing desk. I just forgot to mention that the Sonos Ray doesn't have an HDMI port. It's optical audio only or connecting wirelessly through Sonos stuff.
All right, let's talk talk about the new Sonos Roam colors. There are 3 of them: Sunset, Olive, and Wave. I'm a big fan of Sunset, I'm a big fan of Wave, I'm probably a big fan of Olive too. The biggest thing that I want to see out of this though is Sonos bringing colors to more of its products. You know, the Hey design collaboration for the Play 1s a few years ago was really awesome. That bright red Play 1, I will buy off anyone, hit me up, I'm in love with it. But seriously, you know, I wouldn't even mind a colorful soundbar, colorful move. You know what? I'm a guy that likes color, and Sonos might be finally giving me what I want. I guess just to wrap up, we'll finally mention also that there's a new collaboration with Lorde. There's a pouch for the Play 1 that you can buy. It's corduroy, pretty cool, got a few zippers on it. Fairly trendy, and I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and to celebrate that, or the pouches to celebrate, of course, Lorde's new radio station on Sonos. It's called Solar Radio, premieres soon, and I'm pretty excited about it, but you already know how I feel about Sonos Radio. It's definitely a slept-on streaming service, and you should check it out if you've got some Sonos products. And that's about it from the event, but if you want to see a bit more from me, I've got a new review of the DJI Mini 3 Pro up. I'm a pretty big fan of it, and some of the footage that comes out of it is definitely worth seeing. And, of course, I'll always be pushing, because the views on it are terrible, my OnePlus 10 Pro camera review, one of my favorite videos yet. Check it out. I'm Brad Bennett with MobileSyrup. Peace, and I will see you guys in the next one.